Okay, folks, today is the day. We're starting to break down Thanksgiving and we're switching to this. My husband and my friend just helped carry this tree up in pieces, and I was carrying some other tree things. And here is my co-worker Emily, who is my partner in crime every year in helping me set up for Christmas. So we'll kind of try to remember to show pictures along the way. We forgot to get the picture about dragging the tree up, but anyway, here we're starting. Okay, here's Emily. This is the joy of finding that your pre-lit tree has large segments that are not lit. So we'll show you the results of what we had to take off. And then, of course, here is our protector, get in our way. Cooper, come back. He just disappeared. And here's Cooper getting under our feet. He's Emily's moral support up on the ladder, and he's just everywhere we are. And here we are starting bringing out the boxes, making the messes, but it's beginning to look a lot like. This is some good reasons why not to buy a pre-lit tree. We have just been spending a lot of time cutting sections of unlit lights off the tree. Always unplug the tree first though. And now I have to run out to Walmart to get several new boxes. The tree's only a couple years old, but last year we had 1 or 2 strings go out, this year a lot more. So, oh, joyful, joyful. So we're putting on the Christmas music to pick up our spirits. We're making progress on getting lights replaced in the, quote, pre-lit tree. And while we're at this juncture, Emily's putting the bows at the top of the tree before we start the rest of the lights and before we start putting the ornaments on. We've had to remove Cooper. You may have heard or seen Cooper in earlier places, but just constantly underfoot. So we've moved Cooper. And so we've got pretty much the top of the tree lit. There are sections in the bottom. We still have to replace the lights, but we're making progress. I think we finally have the tree all lit, thanks to Emily's hard work of finding the bad spots and us cutting strings out and off, and so we're moving on. Okay, we've just finished putting on 2 layers of ribbon. So we started at the top with the gold, then we put the dark green in between, and now we've got all the ribbon on and we can start putting the ornaments. We're coming down the home stretch. Just see it when it's finished. Okay, Emily and I just finished the tree. We have all the lights and the decorations. We don't have the things under the tree yet, but we're done for the day. We also put some things outside, and so this is the biggest tree that I have in my house, so I'd like to get this one done, and I don't know how many trees that I put up at Christmas time, but it's quite the process. And we've got the biggest one done, and stay tuned. We'll show you more as we get it done. Hi, I'm Marlene, and this is Marlene at Home. I'm the Adult Services Supervisor at the North Carroll branch, and I so welcome you to my home. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I'm not all there yet, but I thought I'd start showing you some things right here inside my door. It's like a welcome to you. I wish I could have you all in, but all of our lives are different in the holiday season of 2020. I want to also show you some of my trees. I don't have all of my trees up yet. My live tree will go up last. But I wanted to start by talking about the tree right here in my foyer as you come in. I'm a lover of history, and especially American history. Here in my foyer, I have a White House tree. Every year, the White House Historical Society puts out an ornament featuring and honoring a different president. And so I have started collecting, and I've collected for a number of years, and I have all of the ornaments, including the latest one for this year. And in a moment, we'll zoom in and show you some of my favorites. But another thing I like about them is that each year they come in some very attractive boxes. And I'll show you some of these specific ornaments. Here's another one. Since I'm a lover of winter, and Christmas is my favorite season, just in case you haven't known, I'm also a lover of winter, so any of the ornaments that have snow in them, they're always a favorite. And here's another box of one of my favorite ornaments. In each box comes, I think it's about an 8 or 10 page pamphlet that tells about the ornament, about the history of that president, and I could sit and read these over and over and over. They're very, very good, very well done. And so I would encourage you to read some of these if you are so interested. I love this one. This was in honor of Harry Truman, and his presidency lasted from 1945 to 1958. And this one is a 3D of the Blue Room in the White House. But then when you turn it over, it's a view of Christmas outside of the White House. And so many of these are two-sided ornaments. Many of them are 3D ornaments. Some of my other favorites are, I love the one at the door. I try to put this up here every year, right at my door as a welcoming sign. Another one of my favorites is this one, and this was from 2006. I want to show you some at the bottom of the tree that I keep because I think they're most appealing to children. The first one is a fire truck bringing the Christmas tree to the White House. The next one was last year's ornament, I believe, if I'm remembering right, and it was Air Force One. It was the presidential helicopter. It was the first one that a president ever had, and it was Dwight Eisenhower that had it first. And the boys like it because they can touch the rotary and just play with that a little bit. The last one over on this side that the boys like to touch and play with are two trains, presidential train, and I can't remember the president, but it's got two parts so that you see the engine and the second car, and then they hook together. The ornament for this year honors President John F. Kennedy. And this is the portrait that Jacqueline chose of her husband after his death to be hung in the White House, and it's still hanging there. And on the back is a quote from Jacqueline Kennedy. She said, "The White House belongs to the American people." The other thing is she never went back to the White House except for one time in 1971. She did it very secretly. It was when the Nixons were in the White House. Pat Nixon had her in to show her the portrait of the president that she had chosen to be hung in the White House. And she said something to the effect, these aren't her exact words, but the day I dreaded the most in my life, thanks to you, became one of my most wonderful, cherished moments of a day spent with my children here. Here in the living room is our largest tree. I believe it's 9 feet. And we just love this tree. I call this tree my decorator tree. I used to do it all in one color or two colors, but over time, more and more decorations have appeared other than just things that all match. But this is the one that draws the most attention and is the biggest one in our home. This is the one where I put a lot of nostalgic things under the tree, such as I have some Tinker toys that were my dad's as a child in the 30s and 30s. And so I have that under there. I'm hoping Cooper does not take anything from under here. There's some an old cash register. Not quite so old. This was mine, a Shirley Temple doll as a young girl. And so that's one of my favorites I put out every Christmas. I have a lot of old books under there that were my dad's or my mom's. One of them is just a storybook when she was 2 or 3, and it says, "To Frances from Esther," her sister that was just a little bit older than her. This doll, this bride doll, My dad, back in the era when companies used to have parties for the families of their employees, my dad would get a big catalog and get to choose a toy for each of his children that then Santa Claus would give to them at the company party in December. Unfortunately, my dad passed away of a brain tumor a month before Christmas. And so my mother wasn't up to going to the party, but someone from the company brought my sister and I our gifts. And I remembered this. It came before Christmas, and my mom let us open our gifts. And this was my bride doll. At the time, my cousin happened to be there. He's just 6 months difference in age than I. And we both wanted the bride doll. He pulled the veil one way, I pulled it another. And here's the hole that I've had to remember that time, and we laugh about it now. But lots of fun memories I have of my cousin Bill. We're going from our largest tree to, I think this is my tiniest tree. And I started collecting some bottle brush trees a few years ago. So I have a number of different sizes here. I also have some, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but some that light up. And my grandchildren were here the other day and they were lit. I try not to light everything until after the day after Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving evening, and so that when my grandsons will be here this year, that they can ooh and ah like I like to do with lighting. And so that'll be tomorrow. I have to film this about 2 weeks ahead of you seeing it. But anyway, also on here are another nostalgic item for me. I don't know if any of you remember these little wax candles in the 50s used to be a big decorating thing. And I just remember we just had a lot of them in our home. They were very inexpensive. And then they, grew out of vogue and they weren't around anymore. But I remember my mom had a big orange tin that we used to keep in the basement full of these little candles, and angel ones and carolers and just a variety. And so I had some from Thanksgiving, but these were two original ones. They weren't mine. But one someone gave me, and one I happened to find at a secondhand store. But then there is a company that is making reproductions. And so I got these. I also bought some for my sister a couple of years ago. So I have a caroler set. I have an angel sleeping up on a piece of the moon. I have 2 of those. And I love the carolers. And I have to tell you, the little girl in this caroler set, when I was a little girl, always reminded me of my sister. This was the hairdo my sister had. It was about the color of my sister's hair. And I was always a favorite of mine. So this is one of the sets I think that I got for her because it has special memories. I'm not sure if you can see it in the daylight, but last year I was able to add this battery-operated light thing that's filled with little tiny miniature Christmas trees and snow, and so that's another favorite thing. So from the largest tree that you just saw, down to my littlest tree. In my kitchen, this is my largest tree, and it's got a gingerbread lady at the top, and then all of the ornaments are little tiny Christmas cookie cutters. And it's a deer, it's a bell, it's a penguin, a star, all different things. And I happened to be at a shower where cookie cutters, the miniature cookie cutters were given out. They were extra, and somebody said, "Can anybody use these?" So I took them, I made them as ornaments on my tree. And so I think this is my largest tree here in the kitchen. And here's just a glimpse into our laundry room and where you come in from the garage. So I have a Christmas tree out there on a cabinet. I also have a number of my friends are excellent scrapbooking people, and I always save their Christmas cards. And so there's an array over the years of scrapbooking Christmas cards. Also, I have a little deer set up on the back of the toilet, on the back wall. And just some different Christmas ornaments on shelving on that back wall. Another one of my scenes, my favorite scenes in the kitchen, are some trees surrounding a church music box. My little grandson said to me the other day, "Mom, that is up too high. It needs to be where children can reach it." I have several music boxes throughout the house, and the boys really love them. Some holiday books that you might find helpful in decorating are the Christmas Tree Book, the step-by-step guide to buying and decorating your tree with lighting, ornaments, ribbons, and more. 35 ready-to-go tree themes and design ideas. Have yourself a very vintage Christmas. Crafts, decorating tips, and recipes, 1920s to the 1950s. Includes instructions for 50 craft projects. And that one's by Susan Wagner. Also checked in at the North Carroll branch right now is Creatively Christmas, Inspired Yuletide Decor. A CD is included, and this is by Jennifer Rizzo. And don't forget our periodicals, our magazines. Here's the latest edition of Country Living, Home for the Holidays. Lots of things to see and enjoy in that issue. Thanks for joining Marlene at Home. Today I've given you a glimpse of some of my trees, some of my decorations. Here's one you might want to make at home. Out of a clothespin and a toilet paper roll. Cut the toilet paper roll in half to make a manger for the baby Jesus. One of my grandchildren made this a number of years ago. But anyway, all through December, I'll be showing you things related to Christmas and decorating here in my home. I hope you'll come back and join me again. Thanks for coming today to visit me at Marlene at Home.